Welcome to the New Indian Woman, and I'm your host Krishna. In this podcast, we will examine the challenges faced by us in managing our lives and our families. In each episode, we will also look at the techniques that worked for different women, examine how to adapt it for us in today's context, and learn from each other. You will get actionable strategies set in the Indian context on a wide variety of topics, right from identifying your passion to better productivity and parenting. Welcome to episode 13 of New Indian Woman podcast, airing in the first week of March 2020. Friends, you may recollect my earlier episode on the many sustainable or environment-friendly choices we can make in our lives. Did you miss that one? Look out for episode 11 titled Sustainable Living in your podcast app. One of the many options discussed was sustainable menstrual options. What are these options? By the way, I'm quite tempted to label this as a ladies only episode. But then, if any of you men are listening to this episode, I invite you to share this with the women in your life. At least some of the women listeners of this podcast may recollect their early memories of using cloth napkins made by folding up old pieces of cloth. And sometime later, disposable sanitary pads entered our world. This seemed a boon to many of us, for it introduced us to the use and throw world. We started looking at our own comfort, and we didn't care much, or should I say, we weren't aware of how these pads harm the nature around us. Now we have started hearing about how these pads are harmful to our bodies as well. Whether it's the first reason of harming the environment or the second reason of harming ourselves, people are slowly moving to more nature-friendly and human-friendly options of handling those 5 days of the month. These are called sustainable menstrual options. Okay, so what all come under this category? This episode is not going to list out all options and attempt to compare one over the other. The idea is to introduce at least one option, and that too an easy one. I started hearing about such options around 5 years back, and in fact my daughter prodded me in that direction. I'm ever so thankful to her for that. This particular option was a menstrual cup. Initially the thought was a bit scary, to insert what looked like a big cup into the body for the menstrual blood to be collected and thrown away. And the cup itself is meant to be washed and put back inside. I decided to take inputs from a doctor, especially on its safety and whether my young daughter is ready to use it. The doctor suggested that I start using it first so that my daughter would later feel comfortable asking me the uncomfortable questions, if any. So that started my journey. My friends who had already cupverted, yes, that is what it is called, helped me a lot in clarifying doubts, and there was even a Facebook group where people could raise their doubts on this and many other menstrual options. Well, coming back, if putting a cup inside your body seems a little too much for you now, don't worry. We have the more easier option of cloth pads, and today we will look at a very different kind of cloth pad. In fact, I chose to speak to people of different profiles, all using a certain kind of cloth pad. Let us hear from them on their experiences. Was it easy moving from the disposable pads option to cloth pads? What kind of cloth pads? Do I hear you saying already, I don't want the hassle of cleaning, or you don't have the time for that? Or even the question of how to change when you are not at home? That is why we are meeting people of different age groups and profiles. Listen to these. You will be motivated to try out yourself and to spread the word amongst more women. First, we will meet a young person who has chosen this option. We will meet Jyoti, who is an engineering student from Hyderabad. So, hello Jyoti, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Jyoti, I just wanted to ask you, what is the sustainable menstrual option that you are using?
I'm currently using Saukyam pads, which are made from the banana fiber. From Amrita University, they have found out that banana fiber is a very good absorbent.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the banana fiber in the water, it can absorb that amount of water, which is equal to 6 times its weight. Like inside, we have a banana fiber, and outside it's with cloth.
Okay.
As outside layer is with cloth, it's very comfortable to use. It's just like a dress for me because it's a cloth. I don't feel any discomfort while using it.
Oh, wonderful. How long have you been using these?
Nearly 1 year.
Okay.
Even though I go to college, I use Saukyam pads only. Like not only in the home I use them, even if I go out I use them.
That is a very interesting thing you shared, because I have met people who use cloth pads, maybe banana fiber or otherwise, who sometimes say, I am comfortable using it at home, but I am not confident of using these pads when I go for work or when I travel or when I go to college, etc., because they feel maybe it will leak, maybe, handling it is very difficult or cumbersome, whatever. So many people say, okay, at home I use it. So I'm very happy to hear, you use it during the day itself.
Yeah, because as I use it regularly, I'm confident with it.
Nice. So I want to understand what made you shift to this. I am assuming before this you may have been using what we get in the market, right?
Yeah.
So switching to this, I would like you to share with our listeners what made you shift, point one, and just before shifting also you may have had lots of doubts, right? Is it okay? That other one seems easier, whatever it is. Could you share both these things with our listeners?
Yeah. Ayud is like a youth team in Hyderabad, and Anjuji told us to actually first use Saukyam pads, then after using, if we spread this word to more and more women, they may also shift to this sustainable pads. Then we came across many facts, like what is the amount of plastic we generate. Like one pad is equal to 4 plastic bags.
Okay.
So to stress on that point, on an average, a woman uses 10,000 to 15,000 pads, like in her entire menstrual lifetime. So if we sum it up, it is equivalent to 40,000 to 60,000 plastic bags.
Okay.
So generally we fight against using plastic, right? But we ourselves are using these disposable pads. Which is very harmful. So this part is like harming the nature, right? But it also causes self-harm.
Right.
It causes irritation. They have this harmful toxins.
Right. All these points in terms of harm to the nature and harm to the person wearing it.
Yeah.
Is the awareness part. So once you became aware, you decided to switch once for yourself and also so that you can influence many more people.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But did you face some challenges? I hear people say that I don't want to even see blood. Did you have that kind of awkwardness about handling the pad once you start using? Did you have any kind of hesitations around it?
Before using itself, Anjuji had told me this wonderful point. If our hand gets cut, won't the blood comes out of it?
So Didi, you're referring to Anju, who is heading Saukyam, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So she told me this wonderful point. Just look it in that way. I mean, why should we feel like that? If we change that mindset, if we think in this way, it won't be a problem. Initially, it may be a problem, but if we think the positive impact it can create, or if we think how many trees we could save. So,
correct.
If you focus on the positive impacts which can occur by using the sustainable pads, I think that won't be a problem, like blood or something. That won't be a problem.
Any other hesitation you had?
I didn't have much hesitations.
Okay.
Like I was prepared. Before using itself, I trained my mind.
Once you started using it, first itself you started using it for college, or else you used it only at home, you felt comfortable? How was it?
Initially, I used at home.
Okay.
That was during our holidays time. So
Okay.
I didn't had the need to use it outside my home.
Okay. And in terms of washing it, that is the next challenge many people may have about using cloth pads, regardless of whether it is cloth inside or banana fiber inside. The challenges with respect to washing, because it is, see, wrapping it in a piece of paper and throwing is the easiest thing without thinking about the environment or any harm. Okay. But that is easy on our part. But here you have to ensure. You have to ensure you wash it and it is hygienic, it is dried out in the sun, etc. How do you feel? When I say how do you feel, I'm talking about how long it takes for you. Because many people may say, I am so busy, I can't be doing this. So could you just tell how easy or complicated a process it is?
We have to soak it in a mug of water or something. Just soak it and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. Whatever the blood it has absorbed will automatically come out. That made the work easy.
And one thing is, there is a misconception that to remove blood, you need to put in hot water. That is when the staining happens, right?
Yeah,
So you have to soak it in the cold water.
Yeah, it should be a normal water. The entire blood comes out. Then
Correct.
later you can do it for 2 or 3 times. Later you can just wash it with good soap to remove
Right.
the upper stains. It is as easy as that. I felt it's very easy.
Yes. So after that, you dry it out in the sun.
Need not be a sun actually. Need not directly exposed to a sun. It's the like normal. If it's just warm enough to dry, it's okay.
Yes. I want to ask you, in your own personal context, did you feel embarrassed about drying it? Even when we buy sanitary pads, many people, nowadays maybe in the supermarket, you can see in the cart it being kept there, people when they buy. But
Yeah.
earlier I remember if you buy from a medical store and all, they would cover it in newspaper and give it as if it is it's a secret. When to dry and put it out, it becomes visible to people
Yeah.
in the family. In the sense, the men in the family also,
Yeah.
your brothers, father, whomever it is, and some people sense a lot of embarrassment around that. So, what is your personal experience around that?
Like if we create more and more awareness, I
Yes.
think this won't be a problem. If we don't know what is it, if we actually don't know what is it, then only it becomes a problem.
Well said, actually. So I was coming to that. Once you started using it, are you involved in any of the awareness activities? When I say awareness activities, there are two kinds of awareness activity. One is whether you are part of some group or organization who goes out and talks about this, or another is in your own personal space, amongst your friends, cousins, whomever, you talk about it and influence people. What has been your approach to this?
With with Ayuth organization, we conducted awareness camps in our apartment. In our apartment, there are nearly 150 families, and we called upon all aunties and all, and we told them, we clearly told each and every point. And we also did in other Nirman organization in Hyderabad, which is which focuses on women development. We
Okay.
also gave sessions there. We try to do in women's hostels. Like these are some important places which we did, and in government schools
Okay.
for the young children, like 8th class, 9th class, 6th class. We try to do awareness sessions for them. In the private schools also, few private schools like HPS. These are our activities. Personally, in our family, I could only influence very less people,
Okay.
friends and family. I tell them, but the impact was very less. But the impact in the awareness sessions which we did with our organization, which we went outside from the home and we did with our organization, it was a lot. There were many people who bought the bats from us. After they used, after 1 month or something, we asked for the feedback, and there were many good feedbacks. We heard very good feedbacks. They suggested to other people.
Okay. So it's like a chain reaction
Yeah.
actually happening.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting to see people like you who are very young, adopting such practices. Because when the young people do it, I feel there is so much more pressure on everybody else to start.
Yeah.
using it. Like, especially people of my age, when we hear this, oh, if the young people, if they are excited and they are looking at options like this, it is time we change.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. I really understand that power.
Other aspect is the cost.
Okay.
This disposable pads, they are very costly.
Right.
So over entire menstrual time, it sums up to a very huge amount. But these kind of sustainable pads, if we buy once, they can last up to 3 to 5 years if we properly maintain them.
Right.
So in cost way also, it's very effective.
Okay. That is a nice point that you brought up. And before we wind up, I want to ask you one question. Would you go back to the conventional pads? When I say conventional, the more popular pads, would you go back to them?
No, I strongly say no to them.
Okay. From whatever you say, I see that you have no excuses. You are so convinced about using this pad.
Yeah.
When you say that you will never go back to the other option, it shows how much you are aware about the product and how much that initial hesitation, nothing is there, and you are comfortable with using this.
Yeah. I would like to add one more point.
Sure.
If we make them to use this kind of sustainable pads at the young age, like at the age when they just
Start when they attain puberty. Okay.
yeah. So if we make that kind of habit to them, then they'll definitely never switch to the regular disposable pads. I'm very sure about it.
That is a nice thing to say because, you're saying this challenge of changing from one to the other, right from the start, use this itself.
Yeah. Initially, it may be a little bit problem, but as you use them,
Yes.
you feel these are very comfortable because I added a point, right? It just feels like a dress.
Correct.
Use it, wash it, use it, wash it. That's all.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We also have Deepthi from Chennai with us. Deepthi works in the IT industry. I understand she has a very long commute and she is a happy user of sustainable menstrual options for quite some time. So let us go to Deepthi and hear her views. Deepthi, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Krishna, thank you. Thank you for having me in the podcast. I'm quite excited to be in the show.
Deepthi, over the next few minutes, I just want to understand some aspects about the pads that you are using.
Okay.
An earlier user had shared about it being made with banana fibers, etc. For the listeners, could you tell how long you've been using and how you came to know about it? Were you looking for some options or by chance you landed with some options like this?
Okay, so let me start with the first question. So I've been using this product for more than 2 years now.
Okay.
And I've been very, very comfortable and I'm very happy that I switched to this product. And how I came to this know about this product is through a family friend of mine. So she was suggesting this product and my mom had bought it for me, and that's how I came to know about this product. But at the same time, I was actually looking for such products actually. So
Okay.
I was using disposable pads, and I was not at some point I was not very comfortable using it. I started getting irritation. Somehow there was something wrong. I know when it comes to the third day, I used to get infection. So something was going wrong. Even though I was trying to be more hygiene, nothing worked.
Okay.
And at that point of time, actually, I read an article in a newspaper which mentioned that these products are actually carcinogenic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that really struck me because I was paying money and I was killing myself. So that's what is my thought. So I was actually looking for an alternate product when luckily for me, one of my family friends suggested Saukium, and since then I've been using it actually. And initially I was little hesitant because I was not sure how, it is made of banana fiber inside and outside it's of, cloth. So I was not very sure. So what I did was I started first using it on the third day. And
Okay.
the next month, I went on to use it the second day. And then I was
Okay.
confident enough to use it from the first day later on. So that's
Oh,
how I started. It was a 3-month trial for me, but then on, I'm continuously using it, and I'm really
you
happy.
have not gone back to
No,
the
no,
disposable
no,
pads at
no.
all. Okay.
I just don't want to
Okay.
go back.
Deepthi, I also understand that you travel a lot on a daily basis in terms of long commutes, etc. So could you talk
Yeah.
about that aspect? Because many times, we tell ourselves reasons which can almost become like excuses. And this is the reason I don't want to switch. Initially when we have all those challenges, we may think, okay, if I'm going to have long commutes, what if it leaks? And such doubts may come. And somehow, in the case of disposable pads, all the ads and everything convince us easily. And while leaks can happen even there, but we somehow tend to associate that with other options. So, could you explain about
Correct,
that
correct.
part?
I was little, like I said, initially I was little hesitant, but then once I started using it, I realized that it was working fine for very long hours as well. Even once I got soaked in rain,
Okay.
nothing really leaked
Okay.
or I didn't stain
Huh.
myself. So I have been using it for 2 years now, so I can authentically say that it doesn't leak. If at all it stains, it stays on the pouch itself, does not come to your clothes at all.
Okay.
It's good.
I would like to also understand when you are working, maybe, I know you are in the IT industry. I'm assuming work hours are long, which is normally the case. And I assume you would be changing pads while at office. So how does that work if it is cloth pad?
The cloth pad actually is good for almost 12 hours.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yeah, yeah. So, even though they actually say 8 hours, but I still find that it's okay for me for 12 hours. So, when I go to sleep also, I get up late, doesn't really stain my clothes. It has never stained my clothes actually.
So one is about staining the clothes,
Yeah.
but I also have a question in terms of, is it hygienic to use it for 12 hours?
Yeah, I have not had any issues so far. This, I have never had that irritation or any infection or allergies which I used to have with disposable pads.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a listener,
Yeah.
if I have to change and I cannot wash immediately, I'm not at home. So how does it work?
I would suggest that you put it in a plastic pouch or a cover and probably
Okay.
give it a quick wash. It doesn't actually, as soon as you put the pad in the water,
Mm-hmm.
all the blood comes out. There is no, remains of it even in the pad. So if you look at the
Okay.
pad, my friends were thinking it's a new one, but actually I had used it for years, right?
Okay. That's nice to hear. I do not know about your area, but Chennai generally there is this view of water scarcity, especially during summer, etc. In terms of people finding reasons, okay, I would still like to say people finding reasons to not switch. They may say, okay, instead of throwing and damaging the environment, you end up using more water. I have heard such arguments being made.
Okay.
So, in case I were to argue with you, okay, saying that all these options, they tend to use more water. What is your take on it, especially in the context of Chennai?
So definitely you need water to wash, but ask
Yeah.
yourself this question: would you put your life to risk because you don't want to spend few ounces of water per month?
Okay. And also, how much water is required for this? That is where I was coming to.
Very little water, actually speaking, because the pad, it gets cleaned quickly, and then I soak it in a small, probably say a mug of water, and
Okay.
then wash it 2-3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drain it and then, hang it in the cloth line and let the sun do its work so it becomes really clean after that.
Okay. When you go for some functions or occasions where you are staying with other people and all that, does it become a point of discussion where others ask, suppose you are having your periods at that time, then why are you getting into all this painful things? Why do you have to do all that when there is a much more easier option available? Do that kind of discussions happen when amongst your friends?
Yeah, a lot of people do tell that they don't have time for all this. and they're not sure about it. Then I tell them that, yeah, that 5 minutes of your time definitely makes a lot of difference. So at least for me, it makes a lot of difference. So I still go about it, because you might hesitate to actually make this change at this point of time, but then that change, that small change that I had made, has made me feel really, really good for myself. Whatever be the reasons the other people have, I still stick to what I want to do with this, at least. Yeah.
The general concept is that if it is not filled up with these artificial materials which is available in disposable pads, and if it has to absorb blood, these pads have to be really thick is the notion.
It's not so thick, actually speaking. Yeah.
So it is not a point which will influence the decision you're saying.
Because there are two types of pads. Okay, so there is a day pad and a night pad. And the day pad is actually a little shorter, and it still does the work. And you don't really, it doesn't really show, actually.
I'm assuming the night pads are much longer, so that when you're lying down, it doesn't leak. Okay.
So and even if you want to use the night pad during the day, sometimes, which I do for longer work hours, especially for 12 hours, that is also available. So it's up to you to choose.
And this question about when you use cloth pads, does it cause rashes?
No.
Rashes around the panties, where normally with disposable pads you tend to get rashes, and it becomes difficult to even walk sometimes.
Yeah, but that's not the case with this patch. That's what I really like about it.
Now, I'm just wondering, with so much of positives that I hear about these kind of pads, regardless of which organization it comes from, lot of people, lot of self-help groups, especially in villages, work on creating cloth pads themselves. That's what I have heard. However, in maybe TV, in the media, we may see some articles here and there, but we don't see any advertisements. There are no big organizations which can influence a lot in terms of people adapt. Why do you think it is not there in the media? My own thing is it's because big organizations are not producing this, and people who are making it are essentially keeping it low cost, and they do not have the wherewithal to do massive ads. That is my own assessment of the situation. What is any views that you have?
It is not in mainstream yet. That is right. I have also felt that, and I feel definitely these small organizations, small scale industries do not have that kind of investment on the marketing itself. And there is no also, I think, any information coming from the right people. WHO, the World Health Organization, obviously says that the disposable pads are carcinogenic and they're causing a lot of pollution and they needs to be disposed right. But that information is not coming to the people in the rural areas or in the urban areas here. I mean, not many. I don't know how many people know about it. So unless I had read that small article that day, I don't think I would have known about it. So I think people, the health ministry, the government, the doctors, they should also take an initiative to actually pass on this information, which is actually critical for women's health. So when they do that, automatically people will start searching for an alternative, and this small scale industries which do produce these pads will, then I think it will come into mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, wonderfully put, actually, because I'm just thinking, one is promoting such products, increasing awareness. The second is, like so many other things, like smoking is injurious to health and whatever, maybe even these ads should carry some kind of a footer saying, check with your doctor, or it may be injurious to health, which is not there. So most of us will think that it is, there are no issues unless you're looking for it or you chance upon some article on it.
Right. And there's no information on how these products are getting created. So I believe it's bleached, and there are a lot of chemicals. Chemicals obviously are bad for health, but for a long time I did not know that it gets sucked directly into the skin because it's close to your skin.
Yes.
And it does affect your internal organs. It was not something I knew. I'm not a biology, graduate or anybody. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
In our own homes, the girls, they are attaining puberty earlier.
Yeah.
These days, of late in the past 2 decades or so, they are attaining puberty earlier. And so, which means by the time they are 9 or 10, from that age, they are being exposed to all these chemicals and these artificial products. And I would, for the podcast listeners, as a new Indian woman, I would not expect you as a mother to recommend a disposable product to a child without actually finding out whether it is harmful or not. It may be easy to use, yes, but whether it is harmful. It is like a fast food product, I would say. Would you give that every day? Maybe not, but we tend to give a disposable product for our children. So, yeah. So that is where that awareness is required. So thanks a lot, Deepti. Is there something else you would like to share which we have not discussed?
Just that I would like to also tell that this product has made me feel really comfortable, and once they start using, they will definitely feel the difference and they will feel much better. They'll feel healthier, and not only do you do good to yourselves, you'll also be doing good to the environment and the rural women folk who actually work and create these products actually.
Well put, Deepti. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Thank you so much.
In this section, we have Mridula Prashant. She is a professor working in Bangalore, and she also has been a user of cloth pad for quite some time now. Let us move on to discussing with her how her experience has been. Welcome, Mridula, to this podcast.
Thank you, Krishna. I'm happy that you gave me a chance to speak about this.
We are feeling nice about speaking to people who have chosen sustainable menstrual options. Mridula, how long have you been using this?
I have been using this for almost 2 years.
Initially, was it easy for you to switch, or did you face mentally some challenges in terms of switching to this kind of an option?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, initially we were like just using any normal disposable pad.
Okay.
And later, a ma'am named Anju West, who worked for the development of this product, and it's named as Saukyam.
Okay.
So she came and gave an introduction about this. So I thought, okay, let me try this on a weekend.
Okay.
So I went on Sunday and tried it out. I felt it is as comfortable as any regular disposable one.
Okay.
But I felt it is much better because generally it's made of cotton, so you don't have any irritation as such, nor you feel any wet as such. But the more concern why we actually, I basically I can say switched over was to see that it is eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And it can be reusable. You can just wash it like any hanky, and you can keep it safe and you can use it back. And there is no wastage that is going into the garbage every month. So that contribution at least I could give from my side to the society or the world, I can feel, because it reduces plastic as such. They showed all the process of it, like how they take out all the banana fibers, take out completely, and they soak it in water, take it out, fiber to fiber, they separate it out and then dry, they cut it, then they stitch over in between the cloths, they put it in between and they stitch it across.
Okay.
So that actually is one thing which gives you, this product is basically very thin also, not as thick as any cotton which you would have been using long back.
Yeah.
There is less chance of being shrinking across or as such. It is as simple as just equivalent to that of a handkerchief.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to ask there, because somewhere in between you mentioned that you don't even feel it is wet, which is surprising to hear.
Yeah.
Because if you generally use cloth pads also, I think there is some amount of wetness you feel. But you were saying because of the banana fiber, maybe you don't feel wet.
Yeah, probably that absorbs completely into that. So Along with that, the cloth they have chosen is also very good. The
Okay.
quality of the cloth is very soft, very pure cotton. So you don't feel it actually. Even first time when I used it, even I was taken by surprise. Like, how come cotton cloth and you don't feel this
Yeah.
like experience basically? So later I started telling to all my cousins, and
Yeah.
we have a very big group of cousins, and I started telling all of them. And first time they also took a small pack, and then they started calling me back asking for more.
Oh, okay.
There are varieties then, because there are differences,
Yeah.
some people have small flow and heavy flow as such. So people who wanted heavy flow, they wanted a bigger one.
Yeah, so one second,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt here. Because when I hear people talking about such options, there are many people who say it may be okay for them, but I have very heavy flow. Every 2 hours, I change my disposable pads. So I do not think I can use any of these options. I have heard people say that. So, what is the feedback from people who have heavy flow? Are they also having good feedback? I understand in the pad itself, when you buy, you can buy for heavy flow
Yeah.
versus low flow, etc. But people who have heavy flow, what is their feedback?
And actually, most of them are telling now. Actually, I suggested them to go for a bigger one. Like we have something called as a night pad, which is being utilized. So that is a bigger one. So which
Okay.
has, like, there are 3 folds, 2 folds, like this, different varieties. For college-going children or small children, you have very small one single piece, just like your disposable one. There are different varieties which has been taken care of, like by during the production. So
Okay.
that is where, like when they say heavy flow, I just told them you can try out this night ones. So when they're using this night ones, it is like sustained. They're able to maintain it with it. There is no
Okay.
issue for them, I feel.
Okay. And Mridula, also I would like to know whether you have done or your colleagues, in terms of, do you get a spare one and do you change it when you are there? My question is particularly about how easy it is when you are outside the house. If there is a need to change it, how easy or difficult it is to change, because that is one other concern that people might have, right?
Yeah, I never had an issue because I can hold it for easily 6 hours. So from
Okay.
morning, if I use it by till evening, by till I come home, I come back home probably up to 8 hours. I don't have any issues. But some people who have heavy flows, no, they change it over there. What they do is in their lunch break or so, they just carry a polythene. They just carry a polythene cover, a Ziploc cover or something, and they just put it inside that, and they take it back and wash it.
So when they carry it and keep it in their this kind of plastic cover, and they will go home and wash it. So in that, I have two questions. One, does it stink? In the sense, is it something which they have to make sure they take extra precautions so that, or is carrying it back difficult because
Not so.
the second is, because it is there, it is not, the blood in that is kind of maybe drying up or whatever. So after they go home, is it more difficult to wash?
So if we soak it in water, what happens? It'll whatever is dried out, it'll become wet again. So it'll be flushed out with pure clean water, and then again, if with the soap you want to clean it, you clean it, and then keep it dry it. Only the condition is you should completely dry it and keep it.
Yeah.
Don't keep it wet. Don't keep it wet folded.
Are people talking about concerns in terms of, are they embarrassed about keeping it in the open? I'll tell you why I'm asking this. Because earlier days, maybe 20 years back, 30 years back, when people were using cloth and whatever was available as the traditional options, there was some amount of embarrassment, and it would be dried in some areas where the men of the house and the boys of the house don't see it and things like that. There was a lot of care taken to do it secretly.
Yeah.
Even in today's age also, there may be people who do not talk about this openly, while they may be comfortably sitting in the living room and watching an ad about a disposable pad which shows graphically all these things, but they may still not be comfortable drying it openly in the sun. So what is the feedback that you have heard from the people known to you who are using these pads? Are they comfortable with putting it out in the sun to dry it and not hiding it? So I have heard many people using cloth without earlier, and even now in disadvantaged sections of the society, where they just put it under the cot so that nobody sees it. So it never is dried in the sun because there is an embarrassment. So I've heard about many such things. So I know two things. One is in terms of your own feedback, and I am aware that Saukyam pads are distributed across many states, and there is a lot of focus amongst rural women and urban poor also. So do you have any idea about this drying out in the sun part?
Yeah, let me tell you about this. So first thing is, if you dry it in sun, obviously it is the best.
Yes.
And along with that, if at all you want to dry it inside also, you can dry it. There is no harm in it, because I have tried it drying it inside the house. Simply, you can just clip it on just like any cloth. Why I can say you can just clip it on like any cloth is what the kind of cloth what they have chosen is just like a handkerchief cloth.
Okay.
Like it is, and the color is dark colors generally,
Okay.
red, pink, and with so many prints on it, something like that, or they are dark blue. So
Okay.
so and it is stitched exactly to the size of the kerchief, bigger kerchief. You don't feel like it's something embarrassing, or you don't have any stains across it. So I don't think anybody should have any concern about it. They can along with that any clothes if they want to keep it separate, because I understand people will generally keep it. We also keep it separate.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, even if in their family those constraints are there and such topics are not discussed openly, etc., but even then that should not prevent them from starting to use these pads, right?
Yeah.
I am particularly curious about these young girls who are living in the hostels. Do they also start using this? Generally, how has the response been amongst the students? Plus, and these girls living in hostels, do they start using this?
Yeah. Thing is, we just asked them. We want them to come up voluntarily if they are interested. And to our surprise, really, we were really shocked to see many students. They come out of their own interest.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Come to us, they ask, "Ma'am, can we get more? We also want to try it out. Can you give it us?" So we have actually given to many students in our campus are using now, you can say.
And even students who are in hostels?
Yeah. Our college is basically a residential college. Most of them stay in the hostel itself.
Okay, so that is a nice to know, because people, staying in hostels, in paying guest accommodations, etc., women staying in all these places also, that mental block that it is difficult to use something which requires washing, drying, that mental block can be removed because there are lots of them already doing it.
Yeah. Thing is, many students are coming up and even asking, can I get more so that I can recommend it to my mother, my cousin as such.
Yeah, so that's nice. Okay, Mridula. So is there anything else that you want to share that we have not discussed?
What I would like to say is every woman should be a part of this. It is a social responsibility. It should be a chain reaction so that people should switch back to healthy life.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mridula. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed listening to these different voices, their experiences of using the cloth pad, and what made them encourage use of the cloth pads to other people. Each person took their own way of getting used to this concept. From trying out cloth pads on the days when at home, to starting with cloth pad on third day and what not. If you are of menstruating age, I do hope this episode has helped you understand more about one of the sustainable menstrual options, namely cloth pads. I strongly encourage you to try this out. If you are not in this age group, feel free to share this episode or even buy a set of cloth pads for the young women in your family. Like Jyoti said, let the next set of girls start using sustainable menstrual options like the cloth pad right from when they reach puberty. Regardless of your age, as the new Indian woman, this is an opportunity for you to make an informed decision that impacts your health, the environment, and people around you. Details of Saukyam cloth pads are available in the show notes of this episode. Do write to me at krishna@thenewindianwoman.com to share your ideas and experiences. You are most welcome to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/newindianwoman, to share with people in the same journey. Remember, you are what you want to be, and the time starts now.